I need to find people outside my bubble that I can learn from, that can help me to expand, my understanding, or at least, share things that they've kind of gone through. And that kind of led me into all these different things, from finding more plant medicine to different types of psychedelics, to breathwork, to meditation, to different gurus. And somewhere along the line, I met Wim Hof, and he became my first breathwork teacher. And, I did an interview. I had a podcast at the time. I was working on a website, and this is before he was super popular. He invited me to come to his first training. I know nothing about breathwork, cold exposure. I just saw a bunch of his videos. This guy's climbing mountains in his shorts. Like, hey, this is going to be super cool. Maybe I'll take a picture of him, put on my Instagram, get some followers or something crazy like that. But when I went, I met like 30 or 40 other guys, some women too, different walks of life, different backgrounds, different ethnicities, professions, and every person's opening circle sharing how through breathwork, being in nature, cold exposure, mindfulness practice, their life changed in the last year, like chronic pain, anxiety, depression, insomnia, infertility, like you name it. Like as they're going around, it's like something more unbelievable than the next. And I'm just like, how is this all possible? I didn't think that it could be possible. And so my realm of possibility is like expanding rapidly over these few years. And, we do the whole week, jump into frozen lakes and climb the mountains and all that crazy, amazing stuff. And at the end, we go through this breathwork experience that Wim leads us through. He's banging a drum, we're breathing deeper. And next thing you know, I'm like, my body's vibrating and I have this full out of body experience. I'm like floating at the top of this 20-foot like log cabin, and I'm looking down and I see myself. Seeing yourself like that, I've seen myself in the mirror many times, but this was like, I'm seeing myself from a different perspective. Like, it's not me looking at myself, it's me looking at myself, but there's two of us, I don't know. It was just, and I got scared and I was like, I must have died. Like, what happened? I maybe overdid it. And like that fear snapped me back in my body. I remember opening my eyes, gasping in. And it was like the first breath I'd ever taken. It was like I was reborn in that moment. And immediately I feel this welling of emotion coming up. And I'm just like, okay, Gio, don't cry. Guys don't cry. There's all these people here. And before I can even finish that thought, it's like, boom, floodgates are open. I'm wailing like a baby. And it felt amazing. It felt like a release of all those years of putting so much pressure on myself to succeed and perform and to be somebody. And this voice came back in my head, that same voice that was at the edge of my bed, kind of guiding me, which I don't even know if it's God, my higher self, or what. Maybe it's just, I got a few voices in my head. I don't know, because I talk to myself a lot. Hey man, you're doing a good job. Keep following your heart. You're on the right path. Don't give up. Like, this is what's coming in as I'm crying. I don't even know what's going on. Like, I was just up there, now I'm down here. But there was something very special about it that never left me in that moment. And I realized I had to get out of my head. And the breath work helped me get out of my head and have this out of body experience where I can tap into something a lot deeper than what was in my mind. And now I know, like, the mind is all these programs that are trying to help you survive. It's just like an AI that we've developed through like scanning and life experience and building these programs. Like, it's the ego. And it's like, hey, don't do that. It just wants you to survive. But the heart is where all the magic is where the expansion is where the intuition is. It's where that path that you're trying to figure out in life is stored in there, the intelligence that can connect you to that, which is what I think is a pathway back to God, which I think we're all a little piece of God, forgetting himself. Alan Watts said in a video, and it really stuck with me, to just have this experience. And maybe we're trying to evolve into something, but there was something special about that. That's okay, like, I need to understand this more. And I went back and tried to find anyone I could that could teach me about breath work. A lot of it was like self-study, finding yogis and hippies from the 70s that were doing like holotropic. And slowly my own practice developed. I ended up spending some time at Institute of Heart Math that were doing all these amazing studies around the heart and intelligence field, quantum field. Slowly I started getting back to that space, using some meditation, visualizations, with using breathwork to alter my state. I started having these experiences and exploring, and it was helping me get out of my mind to lead me, to that next thing. And there's still a lot of learning I had to do, because I still had a good 10 years of learning lessons of what not to do and what to do, and mistakes I'd made, and getting out of businesses because they were pointless. But listening more to like how I was feeling, like I could tell, like, oh, I'm not supposed to be doing this. I could feel it. I wasn't overpowering it with my brain anymore, saying like, hey, there's a prize at the end. It's like, hey, this is not what you're supposed to be doing. And so many times, logically, the decisions I made no sense. I could see later how my heart was leading me. And now I learn more and more to listen to that intuition, to save myself time, pain, and, misery, because the mind is like kind of leading me astray. And, that's how the elemental rhythm was created. I started just experimenting with myself, created something that was working for me, started sharing with others. They were having these experiences. And, slowly a breathwork company was formed. And, I was like, again, the mind's like, how are you going to make money doing this? This is silly. What are you doing? It's like, I just want to help people. I don't care. Like, it was like the heart was saying, don't worry, just do it. Do it with like all, as much as you can with your intention, follow your heart, and something more amazing than you can imagine with your mind will happen. That was like the insight. And so I just did that. And slowly I could see it happening, new connections, new experiences, new opportunities. And my life really started to evolve from there, but it was a slow process of going from like 100% like operating from the mind, left brain analytical, to now, I would say more balanced, where I can still use all the gifts that I've acquired through all those hard experiences that caused me to kind of like figure things out, but now using my heart as more of the lead, and then using my mind to kind of figure out, okay, what happens next?
Well, I think so many guys we talk a lot about on the show, like the programming that guys are running. And for me, I was going through with my kids the other day, all of the personal development books that I've read and, how to do more and the 10X rule and, really about this left brain sort of growing and I remember or there was a time where I hit a limit where I could try and add on more, and for whatever reason I would self-sabotage my way into the same sort of spot, and it made me realize like, oh, there's something else going on here, and it's tend to coincide with my my divorce and the relationship and all that sort of falling apart. And so it was this entryway to a mirror, is sort of what you called it, to fix what was going on. And breathwork sort of became that ability. What I didn't realize on the other side of it, though, was this sort of enhanced intuition, which you talked about, because that was always seen as like either like a feminine thing or something that like some people had and some people didn't. And so I'd always just chalked it up to like, I don't have that. I'm not lucky. I don't.